Have you ever wondered what comes next? After chatbots. What happens when an AI can do more than just talk, when it can actually do things all by itself? Well, we're talking about AI agents. These are autonomous systems that are about to completely change how we build software. So let's dive into the roadmap for building them, from a simple idea all the way to a live production-ready app. And if you're kind of wondering why you should care, just look at this number. The market for AI agents is projected to explode to over $47 billion by 2030. Yeah, this isn't just some niche tech curiosity. This is the next huge wave. And figuring out how to build these things is fast becoming a must-have skill. Okay, so first things first, what exactly is an AI agent? It's really important to get that we've moved way past the simple ask a question, get an answer model of a chatbot. We're stepping into the world of true autonomy. So let's pop the hood and see what's inside an agent's mind. Right at the center, you have the large language model, the LLM. That's the brain. This brain uses memory to keep track of past conversations, planning to figure out its next move, and a whole set of tools, think APIs, databases, you name it, to actually go out and interact with the world to get stuff done. So what really makes an agent an agent? It boils down to 5 key things. It's autonomous, which means you don't have to hold its hand. It has perception to gather info about what's going on around it. It has reasoning to break down tricky problems. It can take action using its tools. And, this is the big one, it can learn and get better based on the results. That all sounds pretty cool in theory, right? But how does it actually work? Like, what's happening inside? Let's take a look at the core logic, the engine that powers an agent's whole decision-making process. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to have all the parts, but how do they all fire together to create something that feels intelligent? The answer, it turns out, is surprisingly elegant. They run on this simple but powerful cycle. Think, act, observe, over and over again. First, the agent thinks. It looks at the situation and makes a plan. Then it acts. It actually does the thing, maybe calls an API or runs some code. Finally, it observes what happened, learns from it, and feeds that new info right back into the next think step. This loop is the secret sauce that lets it adapt and deal with things it's never seen before.
All right, so you get the concept. Now, how in the world do you actually build one? Well, the good news is you don't have to start from scratch. There's an entire ecosystem of fantastic tools out there ready to help you.
Let's run through some of the heavy hitters. You've got LangChain, which is kind of the giant do-everything ecosystem. If your agent needs to be an expert on a specific set of documents, Llama Index is your best friend for anything data-heavy. For really complex jobs, Crew AI is amazing. It lets you build a whole team of specialized agents that work together. And then you've got things like NN for visual, low-code building, and Ogno for when you need something really high performance. No matter which framework you end up picking, the actual process of building an agent can be broken down into a pretty simple 5-step recipe. Honestly, it's a lot more about engineering than it is about magic. Step 1, define its mission. What is its exact goal? Be super clear. Step 2, choose its brain, the LLM, and you're going to have to balance how powerful it is with how much it costs. 3, you implement that core think, act, observe loop we just talked about. 4, you give it memory so it's not starting from scratch every single time. And finally, step 5, you build its tool system. This is what makes it actually useful and connects it to the real world. So building the agent, that's one thing, but getting it out into the world so people can use it safely and reliably, that's a completely different ballgame. And frankly, this is where a lot of great projects get stuck. Ah, yes, the classic, the phrase every single developer knows and hates, but it works on my machine. Getting your amazing agent off your laptop and into a live environment where it can handle real users, that is the critical leap. So how do you do it right? It really comes down to 3 pillars. First, containerization. Using something like Docker, think of it like putting your agent and all its stuff in a perfectly sealed box so it runs the same way everywhere. Second, an API framework like FastAPI, which gives your agent a clean, professional front door to talk to the world. And finally, cloud hosting, giving that box a home on a platform like AWS or Google Cloud so it can scale and stay online 24/7. But as soon as it's live, you have to start worrying about security, which brings us to 3 major nightmares. First, memory poisoning. This is when an attacker feeds your agent bad info to slowly corrupt what it knows. Second is tool misuse, where a cleverly worded prompt tricks your helpful agent into doing something destructive. And the scariest one, privilege escalation, when your agent somehow figures out how to get access to things it should never be able to touch. Okay, so we've covered the what, the how, the deployment, and the dangers. After all of that, what's the big takeaway? How do you actually get started on this journey? It all comes down to this single, crucial piece of advice. Don't get stuck trying to build the perfect agent on day one. The real learning, the real progress, happens when you deploy. Start simple, get something working, and then make it better. An agent that's out there in the world doing something useful, even if it's not perfect, is infinitely more valuable than a perfect one that never leaves your computer. So there you have it. We've laid out the entire journey from zero to production. The tools are here, the patterns are getting clearer every day, and the potential is just enormous. The only real question left is, what problem are you going to solve with yours?